Just one series separates the long-standing rivalry between Cringe Society and Renegades. It's the grand final of the RLO Grand Slam, and we're about to kick off to see who takes it all.
And who else would it be in that grand final besides the Renegades and the Cringe Society? It feels like these two teams have been going at each other all year. No matter the iteration or lineup of Cringe Society, they're always at the Renegades' heels, trying to dethrone them as the best team in OCE outside of, that one big tournament. But now they have yet another chance. It's a new lineup. Again, just after Spring Series, they did fall short. When it did look like everything was in their hands, well, now another opportunity. Can they make it happen?
They've both struggled in RLCS, and now it's the time to see how much they're playing for. We've already dished out six prizes from 3rd all the way to 8 in this tournament, but we still have to dish out 2 more. $16,000 for first place and $9,000. So $14,000 for first place, $9,000 for second. And those are the 2 prizes left. There's also a chance to have a look at the bracket is where we saw the tournament thus far, Max.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is essentially a 5K USD match we're about to see, but how did we get there? Well, it was an exciting tournament for sure. In particular, those 5th, 6th place matches, those quarterfinals, each going to 7. However, those were going to be the only upsets of the day thus far, as both the teams who did advance, Aurora, they fell short to the Renegades. Mindfreak, they fell short to Cringe Society. And now we're back to our 2 favorites, our 2 seeded teams who didn't have to qualify through. They're the ones meeting in the finals. And it's going to be, I think, another chapter of an already pretty historic rivalry.
A long journey here, but it wasn't too long because they had that first round advantage. Cringe Society took down Renegades in the upper bracket of the Spring Series, but Renegades came back through the lower bracket and beat them in a Game 7 despite the 1-game advantage over to Cringe Society. There is certainly a monkey on the back of Cringe Society, and Renegades certainly want to prove themselves as still the best team in OCE, and neither team going to be happy with second place.
Definitely not. Speaking of monkeys on the backs as well, I mean, I feel Drippe in particular has a fair bit to prove if we're going to look at anyone on an individual level. Since coming back to OCE, he really hasn't been back on top since Torsos obviously having his success in RLCS last year. This Cringe Society lineup, this super team lineup, they were built to be number 1, and now they have yet another opportunity added. If they can put it together and finally defeat their rivals of 2020 in the Renegades, it would be so monumental to them, especially with Season 10 that's sort of looming around that corner. But Renegades as well, CJ, Kami, Siki, they are the longest standing team in this tournament. Again, only really formed in 2020, so it's still kind of weird to say. They've been atop almost since they came together, and I don't think they're planning on giving it up today.
It's a proof of point that Deca here is the least experienced player on any of these rosters. What veterancy, what experience amongst these guys. Torsos and Drippe haven't gone to Worlds together multiple times. Siki, Kami, CJ all finding journeys there as well. And Deca even went across the Worlds with Siki at one point too, and came first in the recent regional championship. So a mountain of experience both of them have to climb. This should be an absolute doozy. It's the grand final of the RLO Grand Slam, and we're kicking off game number 1.
Game number 1, the kickoff initially looked like it could be going the Renegades' way, but Deca was able to get to the ball first. All that did was buy time for the defense to recover, but not enough as Siki finds the first goal in just 7 seconds.
Straight off the kickoff, Siki hits the roof and it goes in the top corner. A difficult save jumping back, and not the way the Cringe Society wanted to start this.
Absolutely not, but for the Renegades, they are picking right where they left off in that semifinal. Did not drop a game yet today, and it's a trend they're going to be looking to continue with. Torsos on defense tries to get that pass to Drippe, but the Renegades are already there looking to punish. CJ with a great second touch opens the door for Siki. He'll find a second goal, and the Renegades on absolute fire.
How do you defend that? The ball's going which way? Every way, and CJ gets the touch that way, and it goes in off that final touch by Siki. What a play coming out from Renegades.
They're taking it to that next level, and it's sort of that championship level where you need to be. And right now, we're just going to be waiting for the Cringe Society to respond. It seems like this kickoff looking good already. Bumps in the goal. The power coming through along the line just as my computer freezes. And no, the defense was unable to make, the offense was able to find that goal.
Well, there's also Drippe, who fell off the backboard right on top of the ball. It may have been a goal had that not happened. So already a tough start for for Cringe Society. We know they can do a lot more, and they're looking very shaky. They're getting bumped around at the moment. They've had rough starts in the past. They have to figure this one out.
If we do find an attack that you'd expect to come soon coming from Cringe Society, I mean, Deca already trying to make it happen right now, opening the door for Drippe with the demo on the follow-through. Beautiful play from the Society, and they're back in.
That's it. That's the one from Deca. The demo play on his former teammate to open it up after the triple. They tried that once before with the demo. It almost worked out. This is more like we expected to see from the grand final.
Blow for blow, at least initially. We'll see which team can really wrestle true control. It looked to be the Renegades at first, but Cringe Society, it only took them about a minute before they started answering back, and right now it is the Renegades again on that like relentless attack, just trying to get zero space over to Cringe Society. However, unlike Aurora, Cringe Society, they're finding a bit more avenues for those counterattacks. They're hitting those gaps that little bit quicker, and Renegades, I'm not sure this same playstyle will work again.
And we've also seen so many demos already coming out for Cringe Society. This is not what we expect to see. That one's down in front of the net, but there's no power coming out. It should get saved, and CJ takes it away off the post. Post opportunity again from these bumps from Cringe Society.
Torsos, if he just had a little bit more power, we would have been looking at a tie game. It was such a tough angle to hit the ball at, but if you want to be the best, those are those kind of opportunities you have to collect on right now. And again, the Renegades, they're looking perhaps for another opening. Sticky trying to find a big hit on the ball. It's actually CJ who's able to power out through open net for Kami, off of the crossbar and into the goal, 3-1.
Oh, that's a dirty shot off the crossbar. Kami has misread the first bounce, but still gets across to it, hits the crossbar, and it just goes in. The defender thought that that was coming further back than it was, so it ends up going underneath him. Great start again for the Renegades. We've seen more action in the last 2.5 minutes from these two teams than maybe the rest of the tournament so far with all their sweeps.
Yeah, it's just been non-stop attack really coming from both sides thus far. At the moment, it is Cringe Society just trying to break that Renegades defense. Kami, who already had so many great defensive touches in the semifinals, again, finding avenues to get these booming clear. Sticky as well with these demos. This is looking good yet again for the Renegades. Kami, however, doesn't get that critical touch he needs, so Deca should be able to push it through. CJ already in his face, already with the demo. Open net for Sticky, 4-1 for the Renegades.
Oh my, this is becoming very interesting. It was 1-1 and now it's 2-1, now it's 4-1. That little touch from CJ was enough to make it difficult for Drippe to get the clear. Game number 1 firmly in the favor of Renegades now.
Renegades looking very in control, and you can sort of see Cringe Society almost breaking down a bit on that kickoff, bumping into each other on the cheat attempt. Unfortunately, they don't get punished to it too quickly. In fact, they almost turn it right back around the Renegades defense, still able to hold on. And game number 1, under 2 minutes remaining, Renegades, they're looking so fast and so deadly at the moment.
Looking quite deadly. They're working together quite well, and maybe this is the advantage of them having that second or that previous semi-final just before this one a little bit more heated up. More chances to score. Goal number 5, that goes in. And who does this to Cringe Society? Who gives them a 5-1 thrashing in the game 1?
I mean, the best team in OCE, perhaps, the Renegades do. It's something that, you know, I think they've gotten used to. Another grand final situation and another hot start for the Renegades. It always has kind of felt like they've had Cringe Society's number in those grand final series that matter the most. And again, you look back to how they played in that semifinal, how well they were able to handle Aurora. Didn't give up a single game. Or Cringe Society, they did start to fall apart towards the end. And Renegades, they're just coming in that much hotter.
It certainly has been, I guess, maybe a bit too much of a mental game inside of the own heads for Cringe Society. You know, when we've seen them struggle, sometimes overcommitting, as Torsos even said, sometimes going too far forward and giving the game away. maybe they're in a situation where they think, okay, let's not overcommit, but not. It ends up stopping them from playing the playstyle they want, which is very pressure-based.
Cringe Society, though, is also that team that sometimes will have those slow starts, something the Renegades claim they have as well. So it's not as if a poor performance in game number 1, I think, is going to define the Cringe Society in this series. Renegades just coming out that little bit hotter, although now we're starting to see some life from Cringe Society. A few shots on target, somehow the defense able to hold, and off of that demo, Renegades might be looking to add to their lead.
For sure, Renegades actually pre-jumping that one away. Desperation save from Kami, but sometimes you have to go for them, and it's not going to make a difference in terms of this game overall. Torsos getting a consolation goal, the second one on the board, and starting to build some hope for Cringe Society towards game number 2.
An absolute missile of a shot, 127 kilometers per hour. Torsos down the middle. Never an avenue you want to give to this player, as he will sink them in. It's just a bit unfortunate for the Cringe Society, as they are already down by too much to really make a realistic attempt at a comeback. Renegades moving forward, up 1-0 in this best-of-7 grand final. Cringe Society, what do you feel they need to do to bring this back? Because I feel like it's been a bit of inconsistency on some of their touches, and they really just haven't been able to keep the pace up against the Renegades.
It's really felt like a bit of a middle-of-the-ground approach from them, where they don't want to overcommit, but they haven't been holding the defense very well either and challenging at the right moments. Yeah, playing that defensive line from slightly in front of the net where they have to jump backwards, including that first goal right in that 7 seconds where they get completely caught off guard. I think if you don't have that goal go the other way, then all of a sudden this game looks a lot closer. And I don't think they're going to be too worried either, knowing that game 1 is their slow start in normal. So game number 2, they're probably not going to change too much other than try and get back into their play style.
Yeah, and I do have the faith in the Cringe Society that they will be able.
And this is also a really dumb point, but in the spring series, we saw a huge start from Cringe Society and backs against the wall. Renegades stepped it up, so maybe they're going the opposite direction and seeing if they can do the same. Torsos already getting a good lead off that kickoff. A great clear prevents any pressure from happening. Great start right here. The first goal coming from Torsos after a rough first game. Torsos gets this in 15 seconds. Great backboard as well. We have lost Max, so unfortunately you guys are stuck with me for a little bit here as Kami gets a solid kickoff too. It's up to Decker to solo defend right now, but Siki can't get the touch into center. It'll be Drippe passing it into Decker, but it's a dangerous one right in front of net, and that gives it away to CJ.
Again, apologies for the tech issues that I was having. A bit of Australian internet right there, but back just in time to see CJ banging that one into that upper corner. Again, just when it looks like Cringe Society are starting, to get back into form, Renegades find that open.
Seemingly back and forth already as both teams fighting for an early lead. It's only been 30 seconds in, and just like the last game, we already see 2 goals.
I mean, it's just so fast, the action in this one, and already Torsos trying to make a bit more happen for the Cringe Society right now. Is unable to beat Palmy to that corner, but Drippe is there. Again, just such tight play. Very, very suffocating offense from both these sides when they get going. Torsos through the corner, has a chance to sit up in front of the box. Drippe is there, the shot a little bit high and off at the crossbar.
A tough shot to make considering how fast Torsos put that in the middle. But that's exactly what this series and what this match does. Both teams trying to play their best, putting 100%, playing that little bit extra fast and making it that much more difficult to actually get that shot on target.
Now it is the Renegades' chance to try and find something. Sticky with an unfortunate read. I think he was expecting Torsos to maybe get something on the ball. CJ as well. A very poor touch. Torsos trying to get to that corner to punish. Is challenged by Sticky. Deca already there. Gets that second touch. He was looking for the shot. However, can't quite squeeze it in.
You can still see all the pressure that these shots are able to put on, and the fact that they are trying to play them as fast as possible, which is making it more difficult to make them accurate. And now we finally see a little bit of time for Siki. He gets it past one, can't 50 the second, but he has opened it up. If that was a demo, it may have been a goal.
I love how tightly the Renegades are playing next to each other. I mean, their spacing just seems absolutely perfect when they're pushing down the pitch, that even when the first challenge might not go their way, their second member is there. However, it still might be an opening perhaps for Cringe Society, although Drippe is beaten out. Renegades again on the attack. Mid-pitch, Kami should be able to throw it back to the orange side of the court. Going up for it was Torsos, catching it, throwing it down to Deca. Not going to be able to find that pitch, and Siki steals it away.
It's been interesting as well to see Deca playing really far back as that third man solo, doing a great job. Is it you normally expect Torsos and Drippe to be so good in that solo defense, but Deca really showing that he can do that too, making them such a well-rounded roster.
Torsos' solo defense still is something, a sight to behold, as we saw in that moment right now. It's kind of opening the door perhaps for Cringe Society to maybe find that goal-ahead goal. CJ's going to try and clear it through the corner, a bit too high on it as Drippe pushes the ball back down, gets that next touch, but is challenged by Kami. Deca with possession, can maybe go for a flick, but he lost control of the dribble. Torsos there puts a cheeky little touch. It's stopped by CJ.
We saw the goal slow down, and Siki just built a little bit of time for CJ to get back. That one almost stuck in as well. The side post doing wonders so far, and now it's up to Drippe to make sure to hold on the defense, but thankfully Renegades very low on boost after that sustained pressure.
They're low at the moment, however, that does mean it could be a counter-attack. Deca throws it up for Torsos off the backboard. Drippe has a shot. The bump didn't really come through as cleanly as they'd like. CJ, a very risky touch, somehow gets it across the box unpunished.
Pinpoint precision coming out from Cringe Society too. Siki was the only player with the boost left, so they go straight for him, make his save incredibly difficult, and then open it up again with the bump for Drippe to get a beautiful angle.
A great setup and a better bump out of Deca, opening that door for Drippe to give Cringe Society the lead. We kind of knew after game one that was not going to be a reoccurring trend on this series. A lead with just over a minute to go. Cringe Society looking to hold on and turn this into a proper grand final series.
This is the scary accuracy of Drippe that made him so feared in 2019 before he went over to North America, and even while he was in North America. This is maybe the difference right now, but CJ has a shot, and he's got accuracy of his own.
That angle was absolutely disgusting right there. Good touch from Siki to set him up. Drippe thought he was going to go for the tighter angle, instead going across the goal. CJ tying us up with just under a minute remaining. Cringe Society, they cannot afford to give up a second game. Going down 2-0 would be devastating for their chances. They need to find another avenue, and Deca nearly has it off of the kickoff.
It really felt like the right choice for Drippe as well in that play, but sometimes the right choice ends up being the wrong one when you've got the brains on the other side to make the right decision in where to shoot the ball. Now it's up to Deca, the one that can make the same play. It came off the defender, it pinched in, it's off the crossbar, it's not on target, and Kami makes the save. It's still not in, but finally Torsos sinks it.
You can only get so many miraculous touches on defense before something is going to push its way through. Torsos with the patience play gets over the top of CJ, who I still can't believe you complimented, saying he has brains. But what does matter more importantly is the 3-2 lead in favor of the Cringe Society.
Unfortunately, I'm going to regret that decision for the rest of my life, but Cringe Society aren't going to regret that play. They finally get one in, and it looks like their game number 2. It's all down to Renegades to score this goal, but they do not have the time.
10 seconds, unless something absolutely bonkers happens right now, but on their own side of the pitch, they gotta start moving. CJ, a good touch will throw it down. Deca, all he has to do is down this ball. It unfortunately hits the corner. There are members of the Renegades there. Sticky gets underneath it, but can't get it past Torsos, and Cringe Society equalizes the series at 1 apiece.
A closed one, but good pressure coming out for Cringe Society. A lot of shots coming out. 16 shots total to 4 for Renegades. Siki and Kami not putting a single digit on the board.
Yeah, and a complete turnaround from game number 1 as well. I mean, the stats absolutely reflecting that right now. I think a big one to point out, though, is 14 saves coming from the Renegades defense, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're playing amazing defense. If anything, that's a credit to the Cringe Society for being able to put so much offensive pressure onto this blue side of the pitch right now. That's a trend that, you know, again, you associate the Cringe Society when they win. It's because they can put so many attacks on. It's because their offensive rotations are so tight, and we really got to see them play their style of game.
This is exactly what we expected when we came into this grand final. A close back and forth, not just in the series, but in the game itself. These guys fighting over and over again, and I ended up joining the game because...
Yeah, everyone joined the game.
I just automatically joined this thing. Nice.
Yeah, I was in the game as well.
I was like, oh, yeah. Did I join the game? But I assumed that I must have pressed the enter button too many times. Well, that's an interesting bug. Psyonix, get on that one.
That's actually the second time I've seen it. I saw it once before in the Iberian League, in a different tournament I did, where not only did it bring in, you know, the casters, the players, the producers, but it also threw in 4 bots as well. It was like 12 cards aside. It was beautiful chaos, as it was.
Well, excellent. I mean, I was happy to play, but I guess the players weren't. They wanted a rematch. So we're going to restart and look towards game number 3, the one that will get a team ahead. Again, it's been back and forth. Renegades want to be the ones that fight back. It has been close so far at Cringe Society. We're pretty controlling of that last one.
Yeah, it's that controlling, suffocating style of offense that the Cringe Society are known for, and they're going to be looking to continue that moving forward. First time we've really seen the Renegades properly challenged today, where now they're going to probably have to mix up their play style a little bit. I'm hoping to see Kami get a bit more involved. I want to see more bumps, more demos from him, especially on defense, maybe finding ways to sort of break those tight Cringe Society offensive rotations, and through that, they might be able to get those openings.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw against Aurora Esports how controlling Renegades could be. We haven't seen that. Even in Game 1, where they dominated the game, they didn't dominate the possession or the boost through most of it. They just had really quick passes that ended up scoring them goals, and they really caught a Cringe Society a bit too forward on the ball. So maybe that's what they need to start doing, stealing that boost away, getting away from Torsos, who is a player who likes to be on 100 boost to make those big plays. Do the same thing they did against Fiber. See if you can steal that away. But only time will tell as we head towards game number 3.
Yeah, about to kick off our 3rd game right now. No longer a best of 7. We are playing a best of 5 as we are tied. I mean, it's one thing to steal that boost away from Aurora. It will be another thing to steal it away from Cringe Society, who I still suspect might be that little bit faster, especially if they're playing to that same caliber that we saw in game number 2. It could be exciting to see either way. Players are jumping in. The pitch is ready to go. It's a beautiful sunny day. Well, at least in the virtual world, it's actually starting to get dark here in Queensland, but game 3 is kicking off.
Fast and rainy, but there's no rain to put us down on the pitch. As the start immediately goes in favor of Cringe Society, we know they can start to get pressure off these kickoffs. It's a dangerous sight for Renegades.
Very dangerous unless they can turn it around. CJ trying to do just that, hoping to get that ball to Kami, but it's intercepted by Drippe. Torsos going for that next touch. Siki able to bump him off the ball, but already more pressure is there from the Society. Kami with the defensive touch, relying on CJ to get that next push forward, but Torsos with the defensive and patient play actually turns it around. Great pass to Deca. CJ able to make the save.
They're able to do that because, again, there's no boost to be spoken of on Renegades. They put the ball high in the air to make it difficult to drain even more. As Kami has found some of his own, but they have to make some zero boost challenge. They can't commit Kami to the play or they lose their last player with boost. Oh. It's now opened up. Sticky's found it, but it's off both posts. It's now CJ off the other post again, off the bump from Torsos.
And now here comes that counterattack from the Cringe Society. Torsos already putting the ball off the backboard. Kami is able to get underneath it, though it does appear as if they may have survived that counterattack for now. Renegades, how do they not get that goal? It looks so good.
I cannot believe it. They cannot believe it too, and that could come back to haunt them if they lose this game. An early lead would have been so good for them. They want to get this next goal. They need to fight back for it, but they're starting to get pressured at the other end from Cringe Society.
This pressure, again, it's just been how Cringe Society have been able to create so many of their opportunities. And I mean, they kind of got away with one before. This time, though, they're going to capitalize on it. A great shot from Torsos actually sets up Drippe to make it a 1-0 lead.
Off the poster. Deca had been in that favorable position. He went for the boost. He got the boost, and it put him in that spot to be ready for a pass, or a 50 pass out from Drippe. The circumstances go the other end, and Cringe Society are the ones who get favored by that post.
Cringe Society continuing where they left off in game number 2 as well. Torsos tries to get the ball over to CJ, not quite successful on this attempt. Drippe slow playing it a little bit, goes for a flick, gets bumped off the play by his own teammate. Torsos trying to rotate back. Renegades unable to punish in this instance as Siki cannot beat Torsos out, but CJ is up, throwing the ball back down. Siki waiting behind, cannot beat out Deca. So again, CJ has to play set up pass to Siki, who is unable to push it past Torsos, and finally we see that clear.
See why Renegades aren't able to hold this pressure at all points in time. It didn't matter how long they were in attack, because Cringe Society continued to grab those 100 boosts, continued to maintain the advantage there, and able to get this down to the other end, where all of a sudden they've drained all the boosts from the other team, and it's up to Siki, last one remaining, to put a shot on. As he on the flip reset, he goes underneath, he fakes, he gets the 50. Drippe comes in to save the day.
There's been so many dead balls in front of this goal that the Renegades just have been unable to push in. Again now, ball falling in a dangerous spot. Siki unable to get just above it. CJ does stop the clear from Torsos, but instead of going for the shot, instead he tries to pass it back, and that throws the rest of his team off target. Torsos tries to punish, but it hits the crossbar instead.
Again, the post coming into the play, and some difficult moments from Renegades as they're trying to speed up, but haven't really had to play at this pace in this competition just yet. So at the moment, again, the favor over to Cringe Society just in pure speed, but that's a brilliant shot on from Siki. An absolute banger.
One goal might not be enough, though, to hold on despite having momentum on their side. I still feel it's probably a bit too close for comfort for the Cringe Society when Siki puts shots like that in. Once more, we are tied.
2 rippers in a row from Siki, this time in the left side of net, all set up by Kami, all too fast for the Cringe Society defense, and it is back and forth throughout.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Renegades to get us tied. 80 seconds to go. With how this game has been played, one might think the next goal will take a very critical Game 3 victory, and it's going to come from Deca off of the kickoff. Barely time to breathe, and once more Cringe Society in the lead.
2X teammates, 2 golden strikers here as Deca slams that on the right-hand side of net. Way too fast for the defense as well. Again, back and forth, but it's now in Renegades' court to equalize.
After all the effort the Renegades put in as well to equalize it initially, having to do it again after that quick kickoff goal, it's a tough job being a Rocket League player, and it looks like the Renegades are going to be back at it. CJ trying to push forward, can't beat Deca to the ball, but will still keep that pressure on. Again, tries to get it to the box. Torsos can't quite take it away. Here comes Siki, puts a good angle. Kami over jumps it, and now Drippe straight down the middle will get stopped by CJ.
Really tough shot as well, and they needed to make it. Now it's Siki with 40 seconds left. Gets saved away or from the backboard by Torsos. Gets an attack of his own, gets the flick, and it's still stuck in this Renegades defense, the wrong end. If they want to get this tie up, he takes the shot. Is this off the post again? It is, and it's not in. It gets saved out, and Cringe Society have the time to get back. That's a beautiful pass, and Siki once again scores.
And while this is an equalizing goal, you have to step back and think, what could this score be like if the Renegades have been more consistent with these opportunities? They're definitely there. Fortunately, Siki is able to find the most open of nets. I guess that's what's needed to tie this game up, but so many chances for the Renegades. I guess eventually they were going to have to find it.
Been so good in terms of the goals that have been scored, in drawing out this defense, in pushing them up the pitch. 6 seconds left. It looks like an overtime, but Deca has a chance to get it in regulation. It's hit their backboard. CJ will clear it out for Siki to make sure that this is the ground. Drippe's not going to keep that one up. And overtime, game 3, a crucial go-ahead game.
Our first overtime of the grand final. I guess it's courtesy of these players to make sure we don't get it in that game 7. CJ, though, off the kickoff, trying to make it happen. Kami with the follow-through. A very risky attempt right there. Siki, though, was sticking back, so that counterattack won't be as devastating as it could be. Actually, that's a great touch by Siki. Kami pushing forward, not quite fast enough to turn it into a shot.
Off the corner in the defense at the moment. This overtime could heat up at any point in time, but they haven't had a kickoff goal. Now we'll see how these guys play in the most tense situation. Again, very experienced players know how to play under pressure. Unless you're Siki in 9 minutes of overtime, you feel pretty comfortable. But Torsos now has that chance to put that goal and get the game.
You can't put that on Siki again. It would be absolutely devastating to see another situation like that, especially when he's actually been playing so well as that third man back on defense so far in this game and in this overtime in particular. Kami looking to try and create an opportunity. Siki unfortunately doesn't get the touch, and now Drippe with possession of the ball. CJ goes for the dunk. Drippe somehow holding on, gets a bit of a pat on the back from his team to push the ball forward. Deca with a chance does not get the shot he was looking for.
And we've seen a couple more opportunities here for goals at either end, but you can also see the pressure that is on to play fast, to outpace your opponents, making it all the more difficult. The whiffs coming out a little bit more as the pressure piles on.
DJ, dangerous touch right there. Was trying to throw it down to Siki, but put it too far in front of him. Fortunate that the Society weren't quite there to punish just yet. Drippe, a good touch, buys time for the rest of the orange side to fall back on defense. That does lead to a double commit, though, across the middle. CJ unable to get there first, so more pressure coming from Cringe Society. Pass across the middle, intercepted by Siki.
And there was almost a bump on Drippe. In fact, CJ still going it. He gets it, but it's not on target. That could have been the game, but Siki just going a little too high. As again, they're stretching to get the best goals they possibly can to get it past these defenses.
Nerfs perhaps playing a little bit into it as well, as we've been seeing so many opportunities, but these shots always those little bits off. It's really been a game of centimeters thus far as CJ trying to keep that offensive pressure for the Renegades. Drippe has a tough touch to make. He's using a lot of boost right now. Kami not the one who's going to push it through. Instead, it will be Siki. Torsos goes up, but he gets juked out. CJ with the follow through, gets it off the backboard, going to throw it back towards the center. Where is the shot going to come from? As it turns out, no one. As Drippe instead tries to go for the defensive pass. Challenged by Kami. Siki's there, short on target. It is in, and the Renegades take game number 3.
Siki secures it with his hat trick, but it was all Kami with a major dunk, taking the risk, playing so well under pressure, and opening it up. It was the first real play that wasn't just a shot on net by either team, and it's the first play that scores the goal.
Definitely, I think, a large sigh of relief on the Renegades that they're able to get out of Game 3 again with that win, just because the start of that game, there were just so many opportunities for them to bang that ball through where it just kept hitting the crossbar, or being that little bit off. Cringe Society, they were put under defense for so much, and they held on, admittedly, as well as they could. 11 shots from Siki in that game alone.
That was tough. That was really, really tough, as Renegades and Cringe Society keep going back and forth. They are expected to be close, but maybe not this close. Usually you saw more back and forth in terms of like a 2-goal victory one way or the other. We are going to reset the server and see again. It's just been a part of the journey, I'd say, of the tournament so far, to find new servers that work across everybody in both New Zealand and Australia.
I mean, look, I'm not opposed to getting my feet wet once again and getting back out there and having another crack at the ball. I don't know about you, but I hit platinum recently. I think I can take on the likes of, Renegades or the Cringe Society.
Like Dover, you mean?
Yeah, exactly, like Dover.
Shout out to my boy behind the production. Thank you again while you're here. If you want to get a tweet up on stream, make sure you use the hashtag RLO Grand Slam. But a big shout out to RLO, who have been hard at work organizing this with, I guess, very little turnaround time. And I'm even going to say very little experience of a tournament of this caliber. This is by far the biggest tournament RLO have ever done, and they are nailing it thus far. A big shout out to Psyonix for coming up big for OCE, for the rest of the regions as well, and for Asia and Middle East, who also have very similar tournaments with another $46,000 prize pool. So thank you again to Psyonix, and big moves all around Rocket League esports.
Yeah, I know. For one, I mean, no bias or personal attachment. I'm getting pretty excited for those Asian qualifiers later today. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge might be there. But overall, just the big community push coming from Psyonix has been absolutely amazing, and especially for, you know, these up-and-coming regions, or minor regions as people like to call them. I mean, it's absolutely fundamental for keeping that growth and keeping sort of the economy alive, as we are waiting to get into our next game. Obviously, this grand final, so much on the line. 14,000 USD. Renegades up 2-1. They're looking to pull themselves further ahead, possibly get us to match point in this upcoming game.
Yeah, it looks like we're just going to have a bit of a test game as well. They're just going to try and score a goal, see if the lag is still affecting one of the players. Looks like we are all good, so we're about to get back underway as soon as we can get to this next game. So thank you all for waiting. Apologise for the delay. We're straight back in the grand final with Renegades one game up, 2-1.
So that cheeky little one-goal game doesn't count. Pretty sure the Renegades are going to be a little bit disappointed by that. Spoilers, they're the ones who got that one goal in 3 seconds. Add another count to Sicky, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that doesn't throw off the stats for the series, but as long as everyone readies up, we will be right back into it. Now, for Cringe Society, they have been playing well. They've been doing everything they need to, I'd say. It's just such a difficult opponent in terms of Renegades. When you go to an overtime, when you lose by that one little piece, it's mostly just, okay, let's just play a little bit better. Let's play better mechanically. We're doing the right things, and we'll win out the rest of the series.
Yeah, you have to think, and obviously the confidence is still going to be there for the Cringe Society as well. Again, I mean, just the experience and the caliber of all of these players. All of them has tasted that victory before. They know what it takes to win it, so having so many opportunities that they had in game number 2 as well as game number 3, like, they obviously know there is a formula to beat this team. Perhaps this can be the day. They're already putting some pressure on as we have kicked off on to game number 4. Deca with the chance to go down the middle does get demoed, and unfortunately not enough pepper behind that shot to get it behind Kami.
As you'd expect from Cringe Society, already the pressure is on, already Boost getting drained, but Kami with a big demo prevents that past opportunity from Torsos. It made it so he had to try and score it himself, but really brilliant 50-50 has opened up the net. It gets saved out by Sicky.
How does Sicky get there at the last possible moment? I do not know. Deca kind of stuck in an awkward position in that corner. Torsos going to try to push forward. And again, everyone from Cringe Society just not letting Renegades get that clean touch that they wanted. Eventually, we do throw it to the other side of the pitch, but it is bought enough time for Torsos to scoop that ball up and throw it right on back. A late flick gets it over the top of Sicky. However, CJ's already there to get that pass. Deca on defense does just enough to beat out Kong.
The sheer aggression of both teams. We've seen 2 demos each side and even more bumps. This is complete change up from the previous game, so I might have been completely wrong. Cringe Society want to change it up. They want to try and throw off Renegades.
I mean, why not? When you're already down by 1 game, you got to do whatever it takes, and Cringe Society just been going at it again and again. Deca nearly finds an amazing angle to get that ball in. It's going to count as a shot, but by pushing forward, it might open the door for that counterattack. Kami unable to beat out Torsos, who's just been winning every single 50, it seems like. Again, making CJ miss as well. Deca able to push through off of a bump from Torsos, who's doing everything to make sure this attack is successful. He's even going to try and get a position for the shot, but is unable to wrap around the ball. Instead, it comes from Deca. Kami with the save.
So far, Cringe Society have been really good at recognizing when the ball's about to go against their play and immediately backing 2 players off into defense to prevent that shot from coming in. A rough pass, but it's a pinch clear between 2 players. Deca gets the Sicky gets the save, but it was Kami combined with Sicky that had to be the play to get that one away.
It looks beautiful when those pinches come together in the defensive side. Just
it
synchronized.
Looks dodgy as well.
I mean, that too. I don't know, there's some artisticness to the chaos. CJ from behind gets the angle and the lead for the Renegades.
And speaking of thriving in chaos, that's exactly CJ. He gets that first dunk. Deca's in a difficult position, and somehow CJ recovers instantly, gets around, and puts that shot on exactly halfway through this game.
DJ CJ is such a goal shark, it seems like, and every single time these two teams come up against each other, he always finds those crazy angles, those amazing opportunities, doing so yet again in this one to get a very critical 1-goal lead. Renegades, though, probably are not going to be satisfied with that. Ziggy, for sure, is in season opening. He's going to take it, and the Renegades go up 2-0.
That's a major mistouch from Torsos. He was looking for the pass to his teammate Drippe, but it ends up going straight to Siki, who was circling, who gets the intercept. This is a solid lead for Renegades, similar looking to game number 1.
2-goal cushion right now to get themselves not just to match point, but to tournament point, to a $14,000 USD point. And it doesn't look as if the Renegades are willing to let up just yet. Siki, again, controlling the middle of the pitch. Torsos going for another touch, but this time it's beaten out by CJ. And I love how the Renegades are just not letting Cringe Society get anything going offensively.
It has been so tough, and you've got moments where you've got Siki really stepping up, CJ as well, and you always know Kami's going to be playing consistently. You can trust that he is going to always make the right touches for the most part, especially in defense. His team is playing so solidly, and how do you beat that when you are 2 goals down?
I mean, it will be with shots like that coming from Deka, again forcing the double commit on defense, but the follow-through just is not quite there. Kami doing so much work to buy so much time for the rest of his team that Renegades are ready for any sort of counterattack that the Cringe Society have. CJ across the middle, he's actually going to deliver it to Kami, going up with the ball. Torsos makes a read as that was kind of a slower push, but at this stage, time working against Cringe Society. They need to find those openings, and soon.
It's going to be tough because they've only got a minute left. If anyone can do it, it is Cringe Society, as Torsos has possession of the ball. He goes solo. Can't make it work. He only took out one player as well as himself. And as this ball gets stuck in that defensive half for Cringe Society, it keeps looking worse and worse. They might be about to be down to match point to have to get 3 games in a row to win the series.
Looking more and more similar to how that spring series grand final went as well, and that's definitely not the result that Cringe Society would be looking for after months of training. Well, month at least, as it stands. Deka does find that goal to bring us back within one. Only 23 seconds to go.
There's a chance, but as you said, Deka firing a missile in the bottom left half of the net. It's gone, it's destroyed, and with 23 seconds, a kickoff is all that's needed for Cringe.
A little bit of time behind it as well. Ball will be in Drippe's possession. What can he do? He can get it over Kami. CJ does make a touch, but it's a very slow one. Deka keeping that pressure in the corner. Torsos has to try to get back in the middle. Deka looking for the ball. He does throw Kami off balance, but it's CJ who is there for the clear. 5 seconds to go. One last-ditch effort for the Cringe Society in this crucial game. Ball across the middle. Torsos able to keep it up, pitching it off the backboard. Drippe is there. CJ is challenging. Ball still up and around. A great touch from Kami ends this one, and the Renegades go to tournament point.
Tense final 20 seconds for Renegades. You saw the nerves actually getting to them, so experience isn't everything. They started backing off from the ball. The Cringe Society got given multiple opportunities, and they just held on from that furious assault. The Cringe Society aren't going to be happy with this one. They're going to go into game number 5 with Renegades getting up to 3 match points in a row.
Yeah, it's sort of, the best of 5 reverse sweep situation, although in a best of 7, okay, maybe you have that little bit of a 1-goal cushion, but I think a critical part for the Cringe Society right now is just going to be finding a way maybe to shut down Siki. Already 8 goals in this series, more shots than anyone by a large margin. Granted, that one game where he put 11 shots on target is a big reason why. Still, Siki looking phenomenal. CJ and Kami as well. Kami, as per usual, leading that demo charge. The Renegades, they're starting to fire on all cylinders. And Cringe Society, they have run out of chances to step up. It is now do or die for this super team.
It is the final hope of Cringe Society. Torsos said earlier that they believe that they should have won the spring series, that they could have won the spring series, and that they are going to win today. Well, it seems that the story was all about to end, as Cringe Society have to get 3 in a row to make that happen.
If there was any team, though, in our glorious region to find 3 games against the Renegades, though, it would be Cringe Society. Torsos already trying to make that first goal happen, not quite going to hit his mark. CJ trying to drive it down. Deca makes a good read, but Siki is already there trying to capitalize on the situation. Not quite fast enough, as there are 2 defenders for Cringe Society. You'd think they'd be able to get that clear, but the Renegades just not letting them. Very similar to what we saw in that last game. It's so hard for Cringe Society to get anything going.
And at the pace of this game, the amount of pressure Renegades are putting on, not necessarily in terms of stealing boost and keeping possession, just in terms of the quality of shots and the power they're getting, is causing all these double commits from Cringe Society that are eventually going to open up the net.
It feels like Torsos as well is trying to do so much himself on an individual level. He's been going so hard every single time he goes after the ball, and to some success, but sometimes it does feel like he's leaving others behind as CJ finds the opening after Torsos did push forward. 1-0 for the Renegades.
And you're exactly right. Torsos likes to do that, but sometimes it doesn't work out. And in this case, both of his teammates just a little bit too far back. No one ready to intercept that pass. And Renegades getting closer and closer to once again proving that High knows nothing about Rocket League.
Set those timers, 3:35 to go. If the Renegades hold on, that will become, I think, Oceanic lore, although Cringe Society trying to find that opening into the goal. Torsos with a big Deco. Tekka with the follow through, looking for that pass back, but CJ is able to take it away. Renegades again would love to make it a 2-goal cushion, but Torsos again trying to do so much himself. He gets a good touch this time. He does buy the time for the defense, and Deca will take advantage of that with a good clearing pass.
Chance now for Deca to put this into center, but the miss from Torsos is a disaster again. They need every single goal possible. And we've seen this throughout the series. They're trying just that little bit harder. They're pushing that little bit further, but that also makes scoring that little bit more difficult.
You have to push, though, in a grand final. I feel like this is it. If you're not going to give it your all and try every single play, well, then when else will you? A nice, cheeky last touch opens the door for Deca, who doesn't get the angle he needed. That could have been another goal that the Cringe Society are going to want back. Another opening for Deca. Siki from behind makes another crucial save, and somehow the Cringe Society cannot get that crucial first goal.
Again, just pushing that a little bit closer than they normally would and making those shots a little bit more difficult to put on. It makes all the difference, but this one's on. Deca again and again and again keeps scoring.
And I love the team play coming from Torsos. He could have taken that shot, but TJ was there waiting for it, instead trusting the team, trusting the striker that Deca is, going for that deep pass and getting that critical equalizing goal. Cringe Society, they are not dead yet.
And Deca also has 3 saves at the other end. He's being instrumental, and he's got another chance, but Siki prevents it. 2 minutes left on the clock. The goals have been going in favor of Renegades when the clock runs down, so we're gonna have to see if Cringe Society can score pretty soon in order to make sure they can secure game number 5.
And as much as you're probably going to hate me saying this, I really look to players like CJ to come up in the clutch. He has done so numerous times already this year, although it could be Deca as he takes it across the pitch himself, flipping the script a bit. Cringe Society get that 1-goal lead.
Deca, the man, the myth, the miracle of Cringe Society so far. He's finding these goals out of nowhere. He's finding goals that should not happen, even though it's been pretty even so far. Deca's 2 goals has put them in the leads.
Deca absolutely looking phenomenal throughout the entirety of this tournament. Siki, though, almost able to get the equalizer right away. Kami challenging Deca, will lose out. Drippe and CJ going at it as well. Every ball being challenged, every challenge meaning so much for the tempo of this game. Kami doing what he can, cannot get it past Drippe, but CJ is there, putting that shot on target. Torsos with the saves. Siki, the only one up for it's going to drop it for Kami. That shot stopped by Torsos, who somehow made the recovery. CJ going for the double touch, unable to corral it. Kami instead puts that shot. A double commit on defense, finally gets the clear.
That was a major attack. It's so surprising the Cringe Society were able to hold on. The CJ couldn't get the double to happen. And with 1 minute remaining, I'm starting to see Cringe Society come back in the series. They just need to hold on. And they've been doing well with these 1-goal leads throughout the tournament.
yeah, it's not been the Cringe Society offense keeping them in it. It's actually been their defense, which is a fairly surprising situation. However, they have been holding on so well, particularly in this game alone, and they're going to have to do so again. Torsos with that touch throws it back to the blue side of the pitch.
30 seconds left, and Renegades respected the defense so much there, they all backed off. So they are stuck in their own half for now. Siki, he's got the dribble, he's got the shot on, but Torsos there for an easy save. CJ will continue, he's got a huge angle. It's caused two to commit, but Drippe was there to follow up as well. 15 seconds left, the attack continues.
It's so hard to beat three players of this high caliber in these situations. 8 seconds to go. CJ dropping it to Sticky, who will throw it back to Kami. That shot's going to go in, and the Renegades tie it with 4 seconds to go.
And they used all three players. A pass by CJ back to Siki. Finds Kami. I'd worried about their pass not really panning out before that, but they have found the way to equalize, and they're looking towards overtime to secure the tournament.
2 seconds to go. Maybe we can see something in regulations. Drippe thinks so. It's a little bit high. If that ball is just a centimeter lower, we wouldn't be seeing this overtime, yet here we are.
And the stakes are so high. That's exactly why we're seeing all these close crossbars, all these close misses coming out. These guys would normally score these goals, but because of all this pressure, it is not happening for them now. That's a huge dunk. A huge shot from Torsos could make it happen, but he goes high to drain away the boost. CJ left on none. Siki puts the shot.
Oh my God!
Shot target, and Siki wins the tournament.
And the Renegades continue to be the best team in the Oceanic region. It doesn't matter who they are against. They always seem to wind up on top. Congratulations to the Renegades as they take it all.
Fitting way to end. Siki, after scoring so many goals throughout the series, gets the victory in overtime. Cringe Society and Renegades fought that so tooth and nail the entire way. Even though it was a 4-1, this grand final completely delivered. What an amazing way to end the RLO Grand Slam.
Yeah, and again, just further asserting that you cannot think Rocket League and Oceania for the past, really, year and a half almost, without it being synonymous with the Renegades as an organization, continuing to dominate nearly every single tournament, and yet again, overcoming who has really become their rivals of this 2020 year in the Cringe Society, with actually one of their more dominating grand final wins yet, a 4-1 victory. I was expecting it to be a little bit closer in terms of, I suppose, game-wise, but when you actually look at the games, you really see how close it really was.
I mean, you kind of expect them to be close. You never know in Rocket League just what the overall scoreline is going to be, despite we've seen overtimes happen where every single game was an overtime and it ended up being a 4-0. This feels very similar to that situation in terms of closeness. But again, your champions of RLO Grand Slam, it is Renegades, taking the $14,000 over the top of Cringe Society, who gets $9,000. It's time to bring in the players. It's time. Massive congratulations, Kami, CJ, and of course, Siki, our MVP, just calling it right now. How are you feeling, Siki, after that win?
Above Cloud 9.
Rip Cloud9.
Don't talk about them anymore.
I'm sure he was meaning, the phrase, being on Cloud 9, you're above it. Nothing to do with the organization,
yeah.
I'm sure. But,
yeah, of course.
I mean, again, it seems like another tournament, another victory for the Renegades. Do you, obviously you're probably feeling like the best team in OCE right now. I'm sure maybe you're looking at those other regions. Are you eager for international competition to start up again so you can start looking overseas?
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, the current situations in the world have been pretty tough for us. We're planning sort of before even last RLCS season to get over to America, and obviously that sort of stunted that a bit. So we're sort of we're stuck down here for now, but doing the best we can with what we have and getting some wins. So that's been really good for the boys.
And Kami, I mean, you're always rushed over for MVP. How do you think of your performance in that? Do you feel like you've had vindication after that 5th place in RLCS?
Oh no, I think it's deserved to Siki because in that last game I gave away a couple free goals and we still won. So, get the job done.
Yeah,
just keeping it close.
And I guess looking forward as well with the future of the Renegades, obviously you guys are continuing to dominate, continuing to win tournament after tournament right now. I mean, you have to be feeling great across the board. Looking to the future, though, are there any teams that might have your eyes as potential challengers, or it's just, Renegades now, Renegades forever?
Well, obviously Cringe is tough, so they're always going to be our rivals. But we sort of had our eye on Skyfire for a while. I thought they were swimming really well before this tournament, and obviously they finished up fifth and sixth. So I thought they would probably put in a better performance. They'll get better as they go on. Mindfreak are always really good, and I think Ground Zero have a lot more to show than what they have in this tournament. So there's still a lot going on in OCE. Just we need some more tournaments, more good tournaments like this one to showcase the talent and get the teams up and about.
And just to bring it back down to my level at the very end, just a quick question, because you guys have been together for way too long now, a good 6 months in OCE. So who's getting picked and who are you looking to pick up?
Well, look, Kami's from New Zealand, so, if that Olympics thing rolls around next year, we might have start looking around.
That Fiber kid looks pretty good.
Yeah, Fiber, he'll be great. It's great to see some up-and-coming players in OCE, but hopefully we can stay at the top, because we're selfish and we want to win everything. So, yeah, it's good to get wins.
Well, congratulations again, guys. Thanks for participating, and thanks for winning in such a stylish fashion. We're going to see more of the Renegades in the future, no doubt, but that is it for the RLO Grand Slam. Let's have a look at the final bracket and how everything panned out throughout what was an amazing tournament in OCE, with Renegades, of course, just taking out the last of it right there.
Yeah, I mean, so many great series in this one. Again, I keep going back to sort of those quarterfinal matches, both of them going 7. But even, don't let these scorelines fool you, I suppose. Every match from really those quarterfinals onwards were really tight nail-biters, even though it was a 4-0 for the Renegades over Aurora, even if it was a 4-1 for the Renegades over Cringe Society. These games were decided by pretty much individuals stepping up at key moments, and an exciting tournament from start to finish. Again, I hope this is going to be more of these to come in the future. It's been an absolute treat, and a huge congratulations, not just to the Renegades, but to all those teams who did qualify for this top 8.
Massive shout out as well to some of the players that maybe you would not have expected or not have seen in the top 8 before. Riot Gaming, of course, a massive qualification bracket. Aurora Esports causing the upset to get top 4. We saw Mindfreak take down Ground Zero as well. A massive shout out again to Psyonix for coming in big for the region, and also for Rocket League Oceania. It's not been said enough, but they have been part of this Oceanic community for about 4 years now, running things on their own dime, on their own time, and it is good to see the fruits of their labor finally come through with such an amazing tournament like this. Shout out to production, to Dover, to Basink, who are doing the stats throughout, even High himself, who couldn't be more wrong about Rocket League, but he is the best admin right now in OCE. He's done a fantastic job in his first ever major tournament adminning. I think they were really good at being transparent and changing the process to make it better throughout the tournament, day in and day out, and putting in their time. And you got to remember, this is still a community tournament. Sure, it's a $46,000 tournament for these players, but there's still so much volunteer time and effort. So if you have a moment, make sure you're always supporting RLO. Follow the channel. Go to their Twitter. Follow that. That's all they even ask for. They never want anything more than that other than your support and for you to watch. So final thanks out to the Twitch chat for watching today. That is it from the RLO Grand Slam. Any last words, Max?
Again, emphasizing your point, I do think, some of those people behind the scenes do need more love. I mean, tournament adminning is sometimes a thankless job, and being able to put it together on their own time and effort, again, usually for no monetary gain whatsoever. It's for a love of the sport. So all the support that we get over at Rocket League Oceania is greatly appreciated. And I look forward to seeing everyone again at the next tournament. Hint, hint, later today, APL, by the way.
Yeah, make sure you tune into APL. It's another Psyonix sponsor sponsored tournament, $46,000 over there, but most importantly, our brothers and sisters over in Asia and Middle East getting their first real taste of major competition for their region, and hopefully a big taster for what is to come there. Thank you all again for watching. This has been the RLO Grand Slam. Hashtag RLO Grand Slam if you've got any final last words on Twitter. But that's us for now. See you next time on Rocket League Oceania.
Thank you.